Okay, those are the three. From those particular expressions, I could rewrite the first one as y is equal to 2x plus 2. Do you agree? What does that tell me? When I rewrite it, is it in the slope-intercept form? Is it in this form? If it is in that form, then I already know the slope and I know the y-intercept. What's the slope? What is the y-intercept? It will also be 2. So I need to draw me a little graph again. So if the and the b is 2, unfortunately they happen to be the same numbers, but where does it cross the y-axis at? So I come up here to 2, and that's where I'm going to start with my slope. And if I have a slope of 2, what does that mean I have to do? Go up 2 to the right 1, up 2 to the right 1, up 2 to the right 1. I can continue that forever. So I draw a line. What's my restriction? X is less than a negative 6. Right there, x is less than a negative 6. Which means that if x is less than 6, that means coming down here on the x-axis, I'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a negative 6. Come down to where it touches the graph, which would be about right here. And if it was less than a negative 6, what will I use right here, a dot or a circle? Circle. Is this point less than a negative 6 for the x? Is this point? I'm just talking about the x coordinate. Is that less than a negative 6? Is this one? Is this one less than a negative 6? Nope. From here on up is not less than a negative 6, so it needs to be erased. So my graph basically started here with an open circle, went down through here. Okay? Next one. It happens to be y equals x. So is it in the form y equals mx plus b? What's the slope?
1.
What's the y-intercept?
0.
So where am I going to start at?
0.
Starting here. So I will start here, and what do I do when I start there? Up 1, over 1, up 1, over 1, up 1, over 1, etc. And then I would draw that line in. What was the restriction? If I rewrote it, x has to be greater than or equal to a negative 6, and at the same time, it has to be less than or equal to 2. So if I need the numbers greater than or equal to 6, I would probably come over here and negative 6 and come down. Right here's where it contacts the graph, right? And I need it to be less than 2, which means I come over here to where the x is 2. I need another. So checking myself, pick this point. Is that x between a -6 and a +2? This point. This point. This point. This point. So that means all of this is gone. And you said the -6 is here, all of this is gone. So that would be my second graph on that one. Last graph states that that y is equal to a -3. So what kind of graph will I have if y equals a -3? So that means y is a -3 would be here. And you said draw a horizontal line. So there's my horizontal line. What restriction does it have on it? The x has to be greater than 2. Well, coming over across on my x-axis, I'd start here, come down to the graph, which is right here, and since it's just a greater than, I need an open circle. At this point, is the x greater than 2?
No.
How about here?
No.
How about here?
No.
So all of this is gone. Is the x greater than 2 here? 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 So do I leave this part? Okay. So now I have to find the domain and the range. Domain goes along with the x values, range goes along with the y values, correct? Looking at your domain, what is the smallest x value you could ever have, looking from this graph?
It goes on across it. Oh yeah, it goes on.
Kind of goes along to the left forever, doesn't it?
Yeah.
If I looked at the whole thing, doesn't my x value keep on going because this graph keeps on going? So it starts at a negative infinity. What's the biggest x value it would ever be?
It goes on forever.
It goes to the right forever, doesn't it? So I would probably say that my range is all real numbers. Does that make sense? Okay, looking at that, range is my y value. Well, this graph happens to be inverted from the one that we had before because don't I have a maximum y at this point? It never any point goes above here. Would you agree? On the y-axis. And this one keeps going down forever, doesn't it? So wouldn't I have to say that my y values are going to always be smaller than what this right here? So the y is going to have to be less than or equal to, in this case, because that's a dot. It includes that point. And that point on the y value is a 2, isn't it? So the range would be y is less than or equal to 2. Another way that you could rewrite it is y has to be greater than or equal to infinity, and y has to be less than or equal to 2. And this would happen to be negative infinity, because isn't the y negative down here? So one of those two would fit the bill. preferably that one,
Which one?
this one. Okay?